Hey there and welcome to the Daily Manchester United News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Borussia Dortmund have a clear transfer stance on Man United star Jadon Sancho. Borussia Dortmund have no plans of pursuing the signature of Manchester United winger Jadon Sancho during the January transfer window, according to SportBILD. The England international was recently suspended by the Red Devils following his outburst over Eric Tanguys' comments over him after the Premier League defeat at Arsenal. Sancho is currently training away from the first team squad, and reports claim that he won't be reintegrated into the manager's plans until he issues an apology. Amidst this, there has been speculation that he could leave the club in January. Dortmund have been linked with a reunion, but SportBILD clarified that they are not keen. The German publication stated that the 23-year-old is simply not an issue for the club at the moment, but the winger could have other options in the winter transfer window. Sancho was phenomenal during his time in Germany with Dortmund. He scored 50 goals and provided 64 assists from just 137 appearances across all competitions. Since his move to Old Trafford, he has been playing in his shadow. He has just 12 goals and 6 assists from 82 appearances for United under multiple managers. Ten Hag recently dropped him from the squad after he was unimpressed by his intensity in training. The decision was justifiable, but no one expected Sancho to publicly criticize the manager for the same. As a result, Sancho has been banished from first team training. He has refused to issue an apology to Ten Hag. This is the main reason behind his ongoing suspension. The attacker still has time on his hands to put things right. He needs to apologize for his mistake in the near future, or else he could risk the possibility of being sold. Manchester United open to the sale of Scott McTominay in January. Manchester United may have bought 6 new players over the summer, but manager Eric Ten Hag wanted more, and their start to the new Premier League season has shown that the manager should have been backed more. Out of the 6, 2 are loan signings, with the club's official stance that players needed to be sold in order for the club to buy more in a bid to avoid FFP complications. United struggled massively on that front, and their inability to move on the likes of Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, Anthony Martial and Donny van de Beek resulted in the club not strengthening in defense and failing to bring in a powerhouse striker. The situation at the club is currently quite dire, both in terms of results and injury issues, while several off-field problems are threatening to derail the season as early as September. If Jadon Sancho and Antony's issues don't clear up, or if United still end up conceding goals at an alarming rate, or if the front line keeps misfiring, Ten Hag would ideally like to solve that mess in January. But for that to happen, United need money, and that can come through the sale of McTominay, who is an academy graduate, and thus his sale would represent a far more promising outcome FFP-wise. Football Insider have claimed just that, and it makes sense considering the Scots' diminished status in the first team squad, with the midfielder making his first start of the season against Brighton. The report from Football Insider reads, Man United could sanction the sale of Scott McTominay in January to raise funds for new arrivals, sources have told Football Insider. Man United will need to be financially savvy to bring in any reinforcement in January following a summer window of big spending. A well-placed source has told Football Insider that the potential sale of McTominay would generate big funds despite his second-string status at Old Trafford. Fabrizio Romano says youngster with incredible talent is rated as perfect player for Eric Ten Hag. Manchester United are very confident a move to sign Rasmus Højlund from Atalanta was the right one. This week, Gary Neville lamented Manchester United's inability to sign an instant game changer like Harry Kane, and the stakes will become more frequent this week, with the Red Devils taking on Bayern Munich. Another player linked at the start of the window was Napoli's Victor Osimhen, who similarly proved to be out of United price range. a move to sign Rasmus Højlund was struck, even if the £64 million was more than anticipated. It's a fee that could go on to prove a bargain. Speaking on the Debrief podcast, Fabrizio Romano says Manchester United are confident they made the right decision to sign Rasmus Højlund. Romano explained, they are very happy with him because they believe the potential of Rasmus Højlund is to arrive at that level, the level of super strikers. He is a very young guy. He had one season in Serie A with Atalanta and he was at Sturm Graz. It will take time, and the message from Manchester United, from Eric Tanguys to his teammates, was we have to wait for him, to give him time because the potential is incredible, but the difference to play for Manchester United to Atalanta and Sturm Graz, with all due respect, is completely different environment, pressure. They are very happy with him. They believe he is a very serious guy, professional, again, with incredible talent. Romano went on to add that United are pleased with Højlund's early impact across the two matches he has played in. Manchester United staff expressed concerns about the growing involvement of Eric Tanguys' agent, Kees Vos, in transfers. Manchester United staff have expressed concerns about the growing involvement of Eric Tanguys' agent, Kees Vos, in the recent transfer activities at the Old Trafford club, according to the Daily Mail. The agency, Sports Entertainment Group, is now heavily involved in negotiating a player signing, sales, and provision of informal advice on the transfer market for the Red Devils. Rasmus Højlund joined SEG before he moved to Man United from Atalanta in the summer, while the agency also acted for the club during the negotiations over the loan signing of Morocco international midfielder Soufiane Amrabat from Fiorentina. Zidane Iqbal also joined them some weeks before the Red Devils sold him to Utrecht, and the growing influence of VOS firm has left other agents unhappy, as they reckon it would make them lose out on potential deals due to his strong relationship with Ten Hag. The Dutch agent has been a regular at Old Trafford since last season, and while the staff are concerned, their senior leadership are comfortable with the development. The strong working relationship between SEG and Man United comes with its advantages in the transfer market, but whether it would affect their chances of signing players not represented by the agency remains to be seen. SEG were involved in more than 300 transfers this summer and are 600 athletes strong, with Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola also represented by them. Their influence at Man United is expected to continue growing as long as Ten Hag remains in the dugout, but the former Ajax manager could soon find himself under pressure if the upcoming results are not positive following 3 defeats in their last 4 games. Man United suffer another injury blow, with Aruna One Bisaka out for 2 months. Manchester United have suffered a fresh injury blow, with defender Aruna One Bisaka out of action for several weeks. The right back has been a key player for the Red Devils since the start of the year. He managed to displace Diogo Dalot to become the regular right back during the back end of last season. Wan-Bissaka retained his place for the new campaign, but he is now sidelined. The 25-year-old was only a 95th minute substitute against Brighton on Saturday owing to an illness. United have now revealed that the Englishman sustained the injury during his cameo. A full assessment is required, but the early indications suggest he won't be available for 2 months. The Red Devils have had a poor start to the Premier League campaign, and they have already suffered 3 defeats from the opening 5 games of the season. The club face a difficult challenge against Bayern Munich in the Champions League tomorrow, and ahead of the game, they have suffered a huge setback. Wan-Bissaka is one of the best one-on-one defenders in the game, and he would have had a big role to play against the likes of Serge Gnabry and Kingsley Coman. In his absence, Diogo Dalot is set for an extended run in the right-back role. He has vastly improved under Ten Hag, become one of the most consistent players. Dalot is obviously better than Wan-Bissaka going forward, but the same can't be said about his defensive strength. Wan-Bissaka is much superior in that department. United have had bad luck with injuries this term, but they could receive some good news soon with Mason Mount, Sufyan Amrabat, and Rafael Varane not far away from a comeback. Aside from the above trio, the club are also without Luke Shaw, Tyrell Malacia, Amad Diallo, Kobe Mainoo, and Tom Hitton with injuries. Anthony and Jadon Sancho are not available too. Man United in picture to sign Royal Antwerp midfielder Arthur Vermeeren. Manchester United manager Eric Tanguys is a firm admirer of Royal Antwerp midfielder Arthur Vermeeren, who is also on the radar of Barcelona, according to Sport. The 18-year-old had his breakthrough campaign with Antwerp last season. He made 40 appearances for the Belgian champions, registering 2 goals and 2 assists. He has added another couple of assists from 9 games this term, and the Sport claim that Ten Hag really likes him. United have been following his performances closely. Barcelona are also keeping tabs on his progress. It's reported that the midfielder has the chance to impress manager Xavi in Tuesday's Champions League clash. The youngster had an impressive full season with Antwerp last term. He was a regular in the number 6 role as his club won the Belgian league title after 66 years. Vermeeren completed 83% of his passes over the entire campaign. He was solid defensively with 2.5 tackles, 1.4 clearances, and 1.3 interceptions per game. He also won more than 4 duels per outing. Vermeeren has a potential weakness in the air, but he should only improve as he gains more first-team experience. The Belgian is currently working under manager Mark van Bommel, who was a fine defensive midfielder in his playing days. Hence, we are not surprised by his early development. If United are genuinely interested in signing him, they should make an early move ahead of Barcelona, who have become a lucrative destination for young talents. The Blaugrana are eager to sign a defensive midfielder in January, and Vermeeren could emerge as an option if he impresses Xavi in the Champions League meetings. Manchester United contact Villarreal rising star Alex Baena over summer move. With the futures of attacking stars such as Jadon Sancho, Anthony and Donny van de Beek uncertain, and with the club struggling to score goals, it's imperative that Ten Hag keeps strengthening up front. United's current issues with regards to finding the perfect alternative right winger points to the need for a player who can play all across the front line and occupy different roles as per the requirements of the team. And as per Spanish outlet El Nacional, Villarreal's Alex Baena is a realistic target, with United already reportedly in touch with the player's entourage. The report from El Nacional reads, Manchester United have already contacted Baena's entourage, who, at only 22 years old, has already become one of the great players in the first division, which has earned him his debut with the Spanish team. If Manchester United want Alex Baena, they will have to put 60 million euros on the table, a non-negotiable figure for Villarreal, who are going through a good financial moment. Last season, the 22-year-old scored 12 times and assisted a further 6 while playing on both wings and as the number 10 and even in central midfield, highlighting his versatility. The fact that he can play in midfield as well as up front could be key, with United regularly suffering from player injuries and lack of depth on the bench. Baena was his club's third top scorer, and Villarreal are known to be willing to part with their talents if the price is right. This past summer, they raised more than 100 million euros with the sales of Pau Torres, Nicolas Jackson, and Samuel Chukwueze. Whether Baena is what the club requires will depend on a lot of external factors related to the futures of both United's troubled wingers. For now, Ten Hag will be hoping his team can get their season back on track with a famous result in Munich against Bayern in the Champions League on Wednesday. Harry Kane issues Manchester United warning to Bayern Munich teammates. Bayern Munich striker Harry Kane has warned his teammates against underestimating Manchester United even as the English giants navigate through a difficult period. Bayern and United face off against each other on Wednesday in the Champions League. Eric Tanguys' men, are coming off the back of a shambolic 1-3 defeat against Brighton in 5 Premier League games so far this season. United have only won 2. Kane, who is extremely familiar with United from his time in England's top flight, has cautioned the Bundesliga giants against being complacent when they host the Red Devils at the Allianz Arena. The 30-year-old told Sports Illustrated, "A difficult game. I know Manchester United are having a difficult moment at the moment, but sometimes teams like that are dangerous because they are always looking to come back in a big way. So we have to be prepared for them. And of course, we want to get the crowd behind us as early as possible on Wednesday in front of our home crowd and approach the game with a lot of intensity. The Champions League is always special, and my first game with Bayern München will stay with me, so I hope it goes well." Ferdinand noted that Kane will be motivated to find the back of the net against United. The former defender told TNT Sports via the Daily Mail, "I can't wait. Look at the clubs, 2 clubs with a huge history. The backdrop of Harry Kane being there as well, the England captain, someone who a lot of Man United fans would have wanted to come and wear the United shirt. He is a phenomenal player. His record speaks for itself. Champions League football. He's been there. He produced before. He's been to a final in 2019, but never won it. He hasn't got his hands on any silverware, so the bit will be between his teeth." Ferdinand further stated that United's defenders will be wary of the threat posed by Kane and Bayern's other attackers. As we wrap up today's Manchester United news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.